Hello and welcome to today's science lesson. So first of all, guys, can we all turn to wave and say a big hello to our friends on camera? Hello. And we'll begin by doing our meditation sequence. So I will sit down, take 2 fingers, find our heart center, left hand on our laps, and close our eyes. And when you're ready, guys, you can open your eyes and come back to the room. Excellent. And next we'll do our stretch sequence. So let's stand up, push in our chairs. And let's begin by stretching up high to the sky. High as we can. And then let's go down low, touch our toes. Now, we'll go back up high one more time. And this time, can we go tippy-toe high? And while we're there, let's have a wave. Wave side to side. And then we can go back down and touch our toes. And we'll stand up. And let's shake it out, guys. Arms and legs. Shake it out. Arms and legs. Shake it out. Next, we'll do some rotations. So let's go. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Excellent. And next, we'll do 5 stretches to our right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And next we'll do 5 stretches to our left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Excellent, guys. And to finish, we'll do 5 claps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, guys. Have a seat. In science class recently, we've been learning about different groups of things that all live on this planet. Now, everything that has life and lives on planet Earth, does anybody remember what we call living things? Yes. Everything that has life is a living thing. So first of all, we'll write that phrase on the board. L-I-V-I-N-G. Living things. T-H-I-N-G-S. Excellent, guys. Now, the first example, and probably the best example of living things on planet Earth is us. What are we, guys? We are people. And people, we give the term humans. Yes, all people are humans. So let's write that word on the board first. H-U-M-A-N-S. Humans, which are ourselves. Then we learned about a type or a group of living things that grow. They grow out of the ground. We have to water them and they can produce their own food. Does anybody remember? Plants. Excellent. Well done, Pakbun. So plants, P-L-A-N-T-S. Plants. Then we moved on to learn about another group of living things that are many different types. And if we went to the zoo, we would certainly see lots of these living things. Animals, yes. So animals, A-N-I-M-A-L-S. So we have humans, us, plants, and animals. Now thinking back to the previous lessons when we learned about plants, guys, who can remember some of the names of plants? Lotus plant. That's a very good example because it's one we'll see where we are in Thailand. So lotus is an example of plants. Lotus, L-O-T-U-S. Lotus plants. Yes. Any more examples? Banana. Banana is a fruit, but they grow on trees or plants that are called banana plants. B-A-N-A-N-A. Very good, guys. Now, how about a plant that begins with the letter C? And sometimes it lives in the desert because it doesn't need lots of water. Cactus. Excellent. Well remembered, guys. Cactus. Cactus are the types of plants that they have the spiky things on them. If we touch, they're quite sharp, so we have to be careful. But how do we spell cactus, guys? C-A-C-T-U-S. Excellent. Let's see if we can get one more example of plants. A fern plant. A fern plant has lots of leaves. Very different from a cactus, but still part of the same group. So how do we spell fern? F-E-R-N. F-E-R-N. Excellent. So we have lotus plants. Lotus plants. Banana plants. Banana plants. Cactus plants. And fern plants. Well done, well remembered. And now we're looking at the group of living things called animals. Yes. Now let's think. Animals live in different places. So let's see who can give me an example of an animal that lives in the sea. Lion in the sea. Shark. Okay. How do we spell shark? H-A-R-K. Shark is an excellent example of sea animal or fish. Now, how about a land animal? Lion. Yeah, lion isn't a sea animal. It can't. I suppose a lion can swim, but it can't go underwater. So a lion is a land animal. L-I-O-N. Tiger is another example too. Okay, so we've got sea animals, land animals. How about above us in the sky? Birds. And an example of a bird, eagle. E-A-G-L-E. Excellent. Now who can remember there are certain types of animals that can live on land but can also go into the water? Turtle. Some snakes can too, yes, but a turtle is a very good example. It's what we call amphibious because it can live on land and it can live on water. Different to a shark A shark can only live in the sea, in water. A lion can only live on land. Eagles, the same, only on land. But turtles, water or land. Turtle. So there's some good examples of animals, guys. We have shark, lion, eagle, turtle. Excellent, guys. That was very well remembered. And what we're going to begin learning about today is the final category of living things. And these are the types of living things that aren't really able to classify into one group. They're all different and they don't fit the type of categories that we've seen so far. These types of living things, they're not humans, they're not plants, and they're not animals. So the next and final group of living things, guys, we call other living things. So when you see living things here, what we can do is just write the word other, O-T-H-E-R. Other living things. This is the category for some types of living things that look quite strange. They're very hard to classify. So we just call them other living things. And now we've got a PowerPoint presentation for our students to observe and listen to about other living things. So let's turn to look at the TV screen, guys. So let's take a look at our PowerPoint presentation about other living things. Yes. Here we can see some pictures of living things. Here is an insect. This is part of the animal group. Here we have a plant, which is part of the plant group. But does anybody know what this is in the middle here? Mushroom, yes. Now, did you know mushroom is an example of other living things? Yes. Are mushrooms humans? No. Are mushrooms plants? No. Are mushrooms animals? No. So that's why we have to group them in with other living things. Besides plants and animals, there are other living things that are different. Yes, and the key word here, different. They're not the same as plants or animals or even humans, so they have to be called other living things. Here in this picture, what can you see? What type of living thing? Plants. Yes, this one is a plant. We've learned already. How about this type of tiger? Lion. What type of living thing? Is it a plant? Animal. Yes. So here's the two main categories. This is what we call a baby lion, a cub. Yes, a baby lion is called a cub. These other living things are, now there's three different groups. We have group number 1, fungi. Group number 2, bacteria. And group number 3, algae. Yes, we can see some pictures of them here. Now mentioned here is also a 4th group, but this is part of the bacteria group. So we'll just group it in with bacteria. We have fungi, bacteria, algae. So let's take a closer look at these different types of living things. Fungi are decomposers. Now, does anybody know what decomposers means? It means it takes dead things like animals and plants and it breaks them down so it can feed on them. They get their food by breaking down dead animals and plants. That's what decomposers means. Anything that's died, if it's broken down into different parts, it decomposes. And you can see here, mushrooms. Yes, a good example of fungi. Examples of fungi, 3 different types: mushrooms, mold, and yeast. Yes, fungi can be categorized into 3 different types. And you can see here we have more types of fungi too. This fungi is living on the wood. Now, the type of fungi that we know most of all, because most of us will eat it from time to time, mushrooms. Mushrooms are spore-bearing, fruity bodies of a fungus. Yes, mushrooms are the part of the fungi that we can eat. And you can see here on this plate, here are some chopped and cooked mushrooms that we can eat. The second type of fungi, mold. Yes, mold grows where there is moisture and have been around for millions of years. Yes, mold is a type of fungi. Anywhere that's cold and damp, you will see mold begin to grow. It's very small to begin with, but then it can grow to be quite big. And it's an example of fungi, and it's an other living thing. Now this one you might know too, yeast is a helpful organism that we can use to bake bread and cakes. Yes, anytime we eat bread or anytime we eat cakes, this is the type of thing that it begins with, yeast. Yes, yeast is the thing that we bake to make bread and cakes. So the next type of other living thing we're going to look at is something called bacteria. Now, bacteria are very small. Living things that we cannot see with the naked eye. That means we can't see just by looking. And do you know, inside our bodies, we have millions of different types of bacteria. Bacteria are so small, we can't see them. Bacteria have many different shapes and can be seen with a microscope. Microscope. Yes, a microscope is a special type of machine that when we look into it, it makes everything thousands of times bigger. And if we use a microscope, we can then see bacteria. And another type of living thing, algae. Algae are a large group of organisms that usually live on water. Yes, the next time you go to the local pond or lake or river, have a look at the top of the water. What you should see is some green, sticky, slimy stuff, like in the picture here. And this is what we call algae. Yes, usually sits on top of the water. And it looks like green slime. Algae can carry out photosynthesis like plants. Now there's that word again, photosynthesis. Does anybody remember what it means? Photosynthesis is the process plants use to make their own food. And algae can do the same thing. That's how they survive, by making their own food through photosynthesis. And algae can also be food, such as seaweed and kelps. Yes, you see it in the picture here. Does anybody know what this is? Dried seaweed. Yes, we sometimes eat with sushi and other things. This originally was algae, like we see on the top of the river. But after we treat it and dry it out, it can be a food. Seaweed. Any questions, guys? No. Okay, well done, guys. That was great. Welcome back to class. We hope your students enjoyed the PowerPoint presentation so that they can begin to understand about other living things. And it's important to realize that all of these living things are quite different because they're put into the final category we can't categorize with anything else. And we'll do an exercise to understand more soon. But now, guys, time for our stretch sequence. So let's stand up and push in our chairs. And for this sequence, we'll begin by walking on the spot. Stop. Jogging on the spot. Stop. Jogging on the stop. Yep. Turn left. Turn left again. Turn left. And left. Hello. Jogging on the spot. Quickly. 3, 2, 1. Stop. Walking on the spot. Stop. What? Hip. Hip. Turn right. Turn right again. Turn right. And right. Hello. And to finish, we're going to do 5 star jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, guys. Have a seat. And now it's time for our flashcard part of the lesson. And what we're going to do is we're going to help our students to understand the 3 different main categories of living things or other living things. So the first thing to do is put the vocabulary on the board. So for this activity, teachers, print out all the flash sheets and cut the words and the pictures into individual flashcards. And we'll start first of all with the vocabulary. So the 3 different types of living things we had, guys, one of the first was bacteria. Okay, so we'll put bacteria in the middle here to form one column. Another type of living thing that we see on water, algae. Okay, so we can have algae to form this column here, and then our final 3rd column, fungi. Okay, so we've got our 3 main categories of living things. What we're going to do is we're going to give our students some pictures, and then we're going to see if we can put the pictures into the right categories. Now remember, guys, fungi are things that look similar to mushrooms. So that would be a good place to put your mushrooms. Bacteria are very small things. So if something looks very small, it might be a bacteria. And then algae is like the green slimy stuff that we see on water. So bear that in mind when you get your picture. So now, guys, let's close our eyes and let's see who can go first. Okay, so Lakgao has our first picture. First of all, Lakgao, can you come and present it to your friends? Now, what can we see, guys? What can you see in the picture? Can we see any water? Perfect. Remember, algae is like the green, slimy stuff that lives in water. So what can we say this is? Algae. And we need to place it in the correct column. So you can see algae is usually the type of stuff that lives in or amongst water. So one more time, algae. Excellent, Lakgao. Very well done. Big round of applause for Lakgao. So that's one type of algae we've got on the board. But let's see what other types of pictures we can have. Now it's Preo's turn to bring her picture forward. So Preo, come and show the class your picture. Now what do we think we have on this picture, guys? Bacteria. Excellent. Very well done. This is bacteria made to look thousands of times bigger so that we can see it. And you can see they're all like tiny small cells or molecules. So Preo, what column will you place this picture into? Bacteria. Excellent. So one more time, guys. Bacteria. Bacteria. Brilliant. Preo, that was excellent. High five and a big round of applause for Preo. So teachers, you can see the activity we're doing here. We're just having our students understand the different types of other living things by placing the pictures in the correct columns and then practice speaking. So what you can do now is pause the video and play on with your class for about 10 minutes and try to use a different student every time. And we'll carry on playing here. So next one, guys. And this one's for Chu. So Chu, can you bring your picture forward, please, and show it to class? Let's see what we have here. Excellent. Well done, well remembered. Pakbung is correct. This is fungi. Now, does anybody remember the name? This is the type of fungi that's used to make bread and cakes. Begins with yeast. Excellent. So yeast belongs in the fungi column. How's your can, Shu? That's great. So one more time. Yeast is fungi. Yes. Chu, very well done. High five. Big round of applause for Chu. So believe it or not, when you see your cakes and bread in the bakery, this is how it all begins. It begins with yeast. And now, next picture. Let's see who can go next. And now, Pangpon's turn. Pangpon can bring us forward and show us his picture. Now, this is one I think you might all remember. It's one you might see on your plate from time to time. What can we see? Mushrooms, yes. Now, can we remember what type of other living thing is mushrooms? Is mushroom algae? No. Is it bacteria? No. No. So it is fungi. Yes. Excellent. So one more time, guys. Mushroom. Fungi. Excellent, Pangpon. That's brilliant. High five. Big round of applause for Pangpon. So what do we notice about fungi so far? Fungi is things that sometimes we can eat. So that's one way of remembering fungi. Yeast is fungi. Mushrooms are a type of fungi too. So now next picture. And this picture's for Down. So let's see if Down can bring her picture forward and show class. What do we think, guys? Algae, yes. You can see the green, slimy stuff that sits on the top of water. That's what we call algae. So that's excellent, Down. Into the algae column we go. And one more time, algae. Brilliant. High five, Down. Big round of applause too. So you can see how the other living things, they sort of look the same in their own categories. but placed all together, they're very different, which is why we have to categorize them again. And we'll do some more with another picture. And now it's Pat's turn to bring his picture forward. Pat, come and join me at the front, please. Okay. Now, what do we think on Pat's picture?
Bacteria.
Bacteria. Do you think bacteria really looks this big? No. This is bacteria made to look millions of times bigger. We've got bacteria like this inside us. Inside our bodies are things like this, but millions of times smaller. This is done under a microscope, the machine we use to make things bigger. So what, Colin, Pat, what do you think?
Bacteria.
Excellent. That's brilliant. Well done. So one more time, guys, we have bacteria. And you can see how they're different shapes and colours, and they're made to look much bigger. So Pat, that was excellent. High five, big round of applause for Pat. Still a couple of more pictures to go, so let's see. And now it's Nadia's turn. Nadia, can you bring yours forward for me, please? Okay, let's have a look at Nadia's picture. Excellent, yes, it's fungi again. Does anybody remember the type of fungi that grows in cold, damp, wet places, beginning with M? Mold, yes, mold, well done. And what type of other living thing is mold? Fungi, yes. So again, Nadia, we can place it here. That's excellent. So one more time, mold, fungi. Brilliant. Nadia, that's excellent. High five, big round of applause for Nadia. And we have one more picture. So let's see who can complete the set for us. Let's see which the final picture will be. And Net can come and show us. Net, come and join me at the front. So I think, if you think about the colour, you might be able to guess what category this is. Algae, yes. Now thinking back to the PowerPoint presentation, this is a type of algae we can eat. Does anybody remember? Begins with C. Seaweed. Yes, this is a type of algae we can eat, and it's called seaweed. So Net, can you place into the category for us? That's perfect. And then one more time, seaweed. Type of algae. What do you notice about algae? What colour? Green. Yes, always looks green. Net, that was excellent. High five and a big round of applause for Net. So now we've placed all of our pictures on the board and we have the 3 different categories. You can sort of see how they look quite similar, but then when you change the group, they're quite different. Bacteria are all very small microorganisms. Algae are green slimy things that we find near water, and fungi are different things that can grow. But that was excellent, guys. Very well done. Now it's time for our worksheet part of the lesson. So teachers, what you'll need to do is print off a worksheet for each of the students in your class. And what we've got is we've got a list of 8 sentences that relate back to the PowerPoint presentation, where each sentence has a word missing. Now that word is contained inside our vocabulary box. So what our students need to do is read each sentence and think back and think which word best suits the sentence and use it to complete. But what's the first thing we need to do, guys? Names on top. And give our students around 12 minutes for this activity so that they can read and then decide which word to use. And then we can monitor the class and just help our students too. So Chu, this one's for you. You're welcome. Pat, here's yours. You're welcome. Nadia, this one's for you. Net, for you. Down, here's yours.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Bang on for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm proud for you.
Thank you, teacher.
This one, guys, is for you. Now, teachers, what we can do, if you want, to help our students, is we can go back through the PowerPoint presentation too. Go to each slide for each question. So sentence number 1, guys, about fungi. Can we read the sentence on the screen? Fungi are decomposers. Now find the word in the word box to fit the sentence. Decomposers means that they feed on dead animals and plants, and they break them down by decomposing. So find the word that fits the sentence. Excellent, yes. And then a little tip, guys, once you've written the word, cross it out in the word box, because then you know what words you've already used. So that will help you. Then you know you don't have to use decomposers anymore. So you have 7 to choose from. So number 2, examples of fungi. What do we have? Mushrooms, mold, and yeast. Yeast. So can we find yeast in the vocabulary box? Or mold? Yes. Okay. So, examples of fungi. What 3 types of fungi do we have, Nadia? Yeast, mushrooms, mold. What word is missing? Fungi have 3 types. We have fungi are decomposers. Okay, so number 2, the 3 different types of fungi, guys. What do we have? Mushrooms, mold, and yeast. Can you see it on the screen? So you see, Nadia, we have mushrooms, mold, and what's the 3rd type? Yeast. Okay. Are a type. So what type of fungi can we sometimes eat? Mushrooms. Mushrooms are a type of fungi that we can sometimes eat. Mushrooms. Yes, sometimes we can eat mushrooms, but we have to be careful. So, examples of fungi, mushrooms, mold, and what was the 3rd type, beginning with yeast. Well done, down, yeast. Excellent, mushrooms, that's correct. So on to number 4. Number 4, what type of fungi grows in cold, dark, wet places, beginning with M? Mold. Mold, yes. Well done, guys. This is why we're learning, so you get to say mold, yes. Welcome back to class. We hope your students enjoyed the worksheet exercise where they had to complete the sentences using the words from the word box. And teachers, for this activity, it might be a good idea referring back to the PowerPoint and using the visual aids too. But my students did an excellent job, and we're going to practice speaking one final time now. So ready, guys? Fungi are decomposers.
Fungi are decomposers
That eat dead animals and plants. Examples of fungi are mushrooms, mold, and yeast. Mushrooms are a type of fungi that we can sometimes eat. Yes, and mold grows in dark and damp places. Yes, we can use yeast to bake bread and cakes. Yes, and now for bacteria. We need to use a microscope to see bacteria. Yes, and algae can carry out photosynthesis, just like plants. And remember that word photosynthesis means plants make their own food. And then finally, kelps and seaweed are types of algae that we can eat. Yes, guys, that was very well spoken. Well done. So that's all for today's lesson. We hope you've enjoyed it and now have a better understanding of other living things, how different they can be, but when put in the same groups, they're quite similar. And we'll see you again soon for the next lesson. So can we turn to wave and say goodbye, guys? Goodbye. Bye-bye. See you again soon.